Good morning, everybody. It's really a pleasure to be here with everyone, and I first want to thank Jenna O'Farrell and the Northeast Kingdom Community Action for hosting us for today's announcement, and also thank them for their excellent work that they're doing helping Vermont's most vulnerable citizens and helping ensure that they have a bright future and believing in the individual potential of every single Vermonter. So thank you, Jenna, and again, thank you to the NEK Community Action for their great work. Today we're gathered here with community leaders, with lawmakers, advocates, because all of us share a very simple belief that every Vermonter matters. Growing up in Brattleboro, that belief was instilled in me by my mom, Carolyn, who in 1982 helped start a soup kitchen called St. Bridget's. That soup kitchen served 13 meals on their first day, and she worked at that soup kitchen for 40 years, and now they serve over 40,000 meals to the Brattleboro community. But her work was really grounded in this simple idea that with the right opportunity, with the right support, and with the right belief from the community in somebody, that their potential was endless, and their capacity to build a better life for themselves and a better life for their family could be guaranteed. That value, that sense of community, that sense of needing to invest in individuals continues to guide my work today. In Vermont, unfortunately, it is becoming harder and harder to make ends meet. At the same time, we're seeing critical cuts to federal programs, things like SNAP that our most vulnerable neighbors rely on. And as the pathways that helped people in the past build stability and build wealth become harder and harder to access, these wealth building opportunities like home ownership, higher education, and starting a business, the very things that helped build the middle class and help make the American dream possible, continue to get further and further out of reach for young people. When we talk about opportunity in Vermont and economic opportunity in Vermont, we often talk about education, about housing, about jobs, and all of those things are critically important. But opportunity doesn't begin when someone gets to the classroom, and opportunity doesn't begin when someone starts with their first day of work. From my perspective, opportunity begins at birth. And too often, a zip code that a child is born into determines the odds they will face in life even before they take their first step. It's why today marks an important milestone. We're announcing a major step forward in developing a program that's designed to tackle this exact challenge. This bold policy initiative focuses on tackling generational poverty, strengthening rural communities, and helping young people stay and thrive in Vermont. It will be called First Steps Forward. And under the First Steps Forward program, we'll be focusing on the 3 counties in the Northeast Kingdom, and we expect the program to run for 3 years. Over that time, we expect up to 450 families in the kingdom to be eligible for the First Steps Forward program. The First Steps Forward program will include a baby bond in the amount of $3,200 that will be invested for each child, a direct cash payment to support families during their earliest and oftentimes most financially fragile time of life. It'll provide diapers and other essential products to young parents. And it will provide mental health support for new mothers, because certainly supporting children also means supporting parents as well. It's a whole family approach that's really grounded in the idea of dignity and trust and making sure we blend immediate needs with long-term investment. And today we're especially proud to announce that M&T Bank has made a $300,000 commitment to help launch this pilot. M&T Bank's commitment is a huge momentum generator. It's not just an investment in this program, it's an investment in Vermont families, in rural communities, and in the belief that early, smart investments can have life-changing trajectories. This commitment brings us one step closer to making baby bonds a reality in Vermont, and it sends a powerful signal to other partners who want to be part of building a fairer, and more hopeful future in our state. We are deeply grateful to M&T Bank for their leadership and for their partnership. M&T Bank's $300,000 commitment will specifically support the baby bonds component of our First Step Forward program. Under this approach, every child born into poverty will receive $3,200 at birth, and that as that child grows, so will their investment, potentially reaching $16,000 or so when they turn 18, up to close to $30,000 when they turn 30. When they reach adulthood, that baby bond can be used for wealth building purposes, like buying a home, starting a business, going to higher education or job training, or rolling it over into their retirement. It's a direct investment into people, it's a direct investment into young Vermonters, strengthening families and strengthening our economy for the long term. The idea isn't new. We've proposed this idea in 2022 with Senator Rahm Hinsdale and Representative Dan Noyes, who is here with us. And in bringing forward this proposal to the legislature, we got the authority to establish a pilot program, and that's what we're here to announce today. We choose the pilot to work here in the Kingdom because more than half of the babies born here would be eligible. It has the highest percentage of children born into poverty than any other part of our state, which makes this community a place that has great need, but also a place that has great opportunity. The First Steps Forward program is, again, really about giving every child a fair shot right at the beginning, because when we're talking about breaking that generational cycle of poverty, we have to be talking about investment and opportunity, not charity. It's about giving families and young children hope for their future, something to look forward to and build upon. And it's really, again, about building a Vermont where someone's zip code or family income at birth does not determine a child's future in our state. Again, I want to thank you all for being here today. We have some additional speakers that I'll introduce one at a time, but before I do that, I also want to recognize Becky Wasserman, our Director of Financial Empowerment, who oversees our Baby Bonds and First Step Forward program, and then Michelle Fay as well, who's on our Baby Bonds Advisory Board, which is serving as a very helpful guide for us in this process. But with that, I would like to turn it over to Mo Riley with M&T Bank.
Good morning. Thank you, Treasurer Pieciak. My name is Mo Riley. I'm the Community Reinvestment Officer for M&T in Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. On behalf of M&T Bank, I'm honored to stand alongside the Treasurer, Senator Rahm Hinsdale, Jesse Bridges, Jenna O'Farrell, and all of the distinguished guests here today. We deeply appreciate the incredible work you do every day to support Vermont's families. M&T Bank's success is tied to the success of our communities. We see firsthand how access to capital shapes lives and builds wealth to buy a home, pursue higher education, start a business, and build a stable financial foundation. Baby bonds are a birthright to capital, ensuring the poorest children and families can have hope for the future. We are so proud to commit $300,000 to launch this program here in the Northeast Kingdom, where when we invest in our children, we invest in our community and our state's future. We would also like to invite others to join us to provide additional financial support to this program, and thank you for allowing us to build a Vermont where every child has the opportunity to succeed, regardless of their zip code or their income. Thank you.
Thank you, Mo. Thank you. And next I'd like to invite up Jenna O'Farrell, the Executive Director here at the Northeast Kingdom Community Action.
Good morning. Thank you, Treasurer Pieciak, and everyone else here today that has made the Baby Bond pilot a reality. I'm Jenna O'Farrell, the Executive Director of Northeast Kingdom Community Action. We serve Caledonia, Orleans, and Essex County. Here in the Northeast Kingdom, we take pride in our close-knit communities, our resilience, and the beauty of our rural landscape. But we also know that living in such a rural region brings unique challenges, especially for our young people. Because of limited employment opportunities and fewer pathways to build financial security, many youth in the Northeast Kingdom face barriers that their peers in other parts of the state never encounter. For too many families, the chance to build wealth, pursue education or training, or move up economically feels out of reach. And when those opportunities are limited for this generation, it widens the economic gap between our region and the rest of Vermont. It shapes the future of our children and families who call the Northeast Kingdom their home, and often before they even have a chance to imagine what is possible. But it doesn't have to stay this way. The Baby Bonds programs offer a transformative, forward-looking solution. Baby Bonds complement and strengthen our array of services at our parent-child centers in the Northeast Kingdom that work to ensure that children thrive in safe, stable, and nurturing environments, and parents have the support, information, and resources that are critical in helping children flourish and improve outcomes. Baby Bonds do not just respond to poverty, but they actively disrupt it. By investing in children from birth and ensuring that they enter adulthood with meaningful financial assets, Baby Bonds have the power to change a young person's trajectory. This is about creating possibilities. It's about affirming that eligible children, no matter their family circumstances or where they begin, deserve a future that we're all willing to invest in. As we take this step forward, we invite potential partners in our region, fellow Northeast Kingdom service providers, nonprofits, business, community leaders, to join us in this effort. Together we can amplify the impact of Baby Bonds and ensure that every child in our communities has a chance to thrive. And today we stand at the beginning of that change. This pilot is more than a program, it is a commitment. It's a commitment to our children, to our families, and the future of the Northeast Kingdom. It is the first step in a future where young people have a real chance to prosper, pursue their dreams, and contribute to a thriving, equitable community. Thank you for supporting the vision and believing for what is possible for the next generation of Vermonters in the Northeast Kingdom.
Thank you very much, Jenna. And next I'd like to introduce Jesse Bridges, who's the CEO of United Way of Northwestern Vermont. You know, of the many different partnerships that we need to make this pilot successful, the United Way of Northwestern Vermont is one of the most critical partners. They will be serving as our fiscal sponsor for this program so that we can accept donations from foundations and from other organizations, and those organizations can do it in a tax-advantaged way and all of the administrative benefits that come with directly investing and donating to a nonprofit. So, Jesse, thank you very much for that partnership. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good morning. I really appreciate the partnership here. United Way exists at this really wonderful intersection of government and nonprofit and business and community. And we exist at that intersection because that's where change happens. And we really believe in the power to invest in these solutions that we know work, that can really help us to improve the lives for the next generation of Vermonters here in the Kingdom. I was born in the Kingdom. Mother was on Medicaid when I was born, working in a bunch of different restaurant jobs in East Burke and around Newark area. And I think about the opportunities that I ended up leaving for. And if you don't have that opportunity, if you don't have that opportunity developed within your community, that foothold, it really does limit. It puts a cap on what's the potential for our children. And so investing right at birth is really the solution. It is the way that we can keep more people here in Vermont, we can keep more families growing and communities growing every day. We're proud to partner with another United Way, Green Mountain United Way, who will be helping with a lot of the on-the-ground work. We'll work closely with our colleagues here. And we want our investors to know, people that are going to give to this, corporations, companies, foundations that want to get involved, these dollars are going to be invested in a way that really makes a difference. This isn't just filling a hole. This is really setting the groundwork and laying a foundation for a much brighter future. So really excited to be a part of this and appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Finally, I would like to invite our legislative partner, Senator Ron Hinsdale, who's been a champion of Baby Bonds and a big partner with our office in a lot of the initiatives that we have done over the years. And really, again, just a great legislative partner, along with Representative Dan Noyes, who sponsored the bill on the House side, and Representative Scott Campbell, who also was a supporter of the program and the legislation back in 2023. So, Senator Ron Hinsdale.
Thank you. Well, I have to say, I almost don't know what to do with my hands or exactly what to say, because usually I'm holding one of my small children when we talk about Baby Bonds. I have a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old, and it's been a great privilege to work with the Treasurer's Office and my legislative colleagues and others to advance this program. And I would say to advance this program alongside Vermont Saves and a number of other financial empowerment tools for Vermonters, so that we're thinking about people on every part of the continuum of building financial wealth and family well-being. When you look at families and young children, that's where the continuum can and should begin, and often when that's disrupted, it is a lifetime sentence for that child and for that family. We are in this country about to see the greatest transfer of wealth probably in history between baby boomers and millennials, and we are seeing that in the context of that wealth being concentrated more and more at the top. I couldn't help but notice on my drive-in, someone had a very prominent sign that said, "The rich get richer and the rest of us foot the bill." Maybe others saw that too. It's very hard in this climate for everyday Vermonters not to feel like the economy is rigged against them and rigged against their families, and that they're never going to be able to get ahead. Baby bonds is an incredibly unique solution, and because of that, it's one that sometimes gets, I think, more criticism than it deserves, and really speaks to our inability to do long-term thinking in politics sometimes. You know, we get criticized on the left that we should just be giving money to the parents now. We get criticized on the right, you know, that this money might be misspent, or, you know, could go to tax breaks or other uses. And the really unfortunate part about all of that is that it is such a small investment with such an incredible return. If you could put a price tag on hope and resilience and the belief that someone is out there committed to you and your success, and you said that would cost $3,000+, just a little bit over $3,000, I think everyone hears that as an incredible investment in our kids as our most precious resource. And then, you know, when the price tag gets bigger, as you think about serving hundreds of kids, you know, people start to feel desperate for uses for that money now. So, you know, I say this all as a free lunch kid myself, as someone who, you know, used to cash my dad's checks and then became the first woman to serve as the chair of Senate Economic Development. It makes a huge difference in the life of a child when they have exposure to financial tools and banking and all of these things that some of us take for granted because of where we grew up or who we grew up around. And that's just not true for a lot of Vermonters and a lot of folks in poverty who want to be able to make this decision, who like me with my 1- and 2-year-old, think every day about putting food in their mouths, but also what their future will look like. Also, how can they thrive and not just survive? And it should be the right of every Vermont family to be able to think that their children will be better off than they have been, and to feel that hope themselves and instill that hope in their kids who, you know, we're right across from Lyndon Institute, who could start a business. I mean, we talk to young people who want to be nail technicians, who want to be machinists, who see a bright future right in their hometown, right here in the kingdom, but they need that little bit of support, and it goes such a long way. So I always love working with the treasurer, and knowing that instead of just talking about economic development, we're talking about economic empowerment is an important paradigm shift that the treasurer has really led, that his team has led, that so many of you are doing every day in your work. So I just appreciate getting to be a small part of it, and building this bright future for families in the Northeast Kingdom.
So again, we want to thank everybody for coming today. Happy if there are any questions to take them from the media, happy to do it offline as well. So we'll, I think we have the presentation of the check here in a minute, so
Any
we'll.
questions first? I didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
That keyword hope.
Yeah.
How important is that for any family, especially from the moment they're born? Just
Yeah.
that opportunity to know someone is looking after them and has their back.
Yeah, I think it's critical. I mean, I think it's critical to the success of an individual. I think it's critical to the success of a family. I think it's critical to the success of a community as well. And when you look around the United States of America, there are so many communities that don't have hope. There's so many families that don't have hope, and I think it's leading us to a really dark place. And I think it's undermining a lot of our values and institutions, including our democracy. So instilling that hope is an empowerment for that family. It's an empowerment for a community, and really has the power to change the whole course, I think, of and trajectory of the country, of democracy, if we can sort of get those kind of economic elements right and make that kind of commitment across the United States.
Just my final question. I guess what does the next few months look like for you guys in terms of, you know, continuing to get more funding and more partnerships?
Yes, we have ongoing conversations with additional funders, but the thing that makes this foundational commitment so important is it's the thing that will give us the momentum as we continue these conversations. So much of early 2026 will be focused on additional fundraising. We want to raise in total $1.5 million, and we think that we'll have that secured to the place that we hope to launch the program in the fall of 2026. So the next few months we'll both be looking at additional fundraising and then also programmatic specific details to iron them out to get ready for 2026.
Thank you.
What are your benchmarks for determining whether the pilot is a success?
Yeah, so we will be working with academic evaluators, one nationally and one locally, that we are still in discussion with. But we want them to be able to tell us independently how do they view success with this program. The way that we think of it is probably both qualitative and quantitative. So how, on the qualitative side, how is a family feel about their future prior to the program and following the program? Qualitatively, or quantitatively rather, so that how many additional investments were made alongside the state's investment from the family or from friends or from relatives. What was the economic stability and situation of the family before the program and after the program? So those are the kind of things we'll be capturing that, again, are sort of hard data, but also that sort of qualitative aspect of, how does the family feel about their future?
Any sense of what kind of ripple effect even just 450 impacted families in the kingdom would have?
Well, I think it can be significant, right? Because that 3,200 will grow to $16,000, $17,000, $18,000, $20,000. The design of the Baby Bonds program is that a child can claim it when they turn 18 through the age of 30. That's sort of the time frame that you are trying to encourage someone to make that kind of investment in a home and a business, in themselves through education or retirement. So the impact will grow over time. It won't just be that $3,200, but potentially tens of thousands of each of those individuals. And if they're buying a home here in the kingdom, starting a business here in the kingdom, helping one of the universities in the area, it will have a ripple impact that is beyond just that individual child. And then the long-term impact is they're building wealth, as they have a more stable future, as they have a more independent and dignified retirement as a result. All of those things have long-term benefits for a community and for an individual, and for the Vermont economy overall. Well, thank you, everybody. We'll gather up here for a photo, and again, appreciate everyone being here today. Thank you again to our partners, and thank you again to M&T Bank.
You want to come in front of the podium? For the official photo op?